beautiful conditions. And away we go. G'day everyone, it's Alan here from Fishing Mad, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. Well, we're going to run through a beginner's guide on everything squid fishing in today's episode. We're going to cover everything from start to finish, including your setup and gear selection. We're going to run through squid jigs. We're going to run through a whole heap of different fishing techniques. And we're on the water. We're going to put all of that into practice and show you some practical ways and some really helpful tips so you can go out there and catch plenty of squid yourself. Anyway, sit back and enjoy the show. Well, another day out on the water and breathtaking conditions today. The water clarity is also super duper clear, so I think we're going to have some pretty good fishing today. So we've just launched from the beach. What we're doing at the moment is we're just heading out between that 3 and 5 meters deep. We're just looking below us, and obviously what we're looking for is those really thick weed beds. So that is absolutely awesome ecosystem. You see at the moment there is your thick weed, and then as we go over a bit more clearing, that fuzziness at the top stops. So you can see there, that's flat area, that's weed. As you can see now, we're going back over thick weed, and if I look over to the side of me, it reflects exactly that. Now that is like picture perfect for squid fishing. Okay, you've got that really, really thick, dark colored weed, which I think is ribbon weed, and then you've got just little clearings of sand and rubble. Okay, so before we throw in a line, let's cover up gear selection and setup. So all I've got with me today, this is just a pretty basic entry-level 2 to 4 kilo rod. This is just a Savage Gear 1D FR Stealth. So what I do like about this rod is it's got a pretty flexible rod tip. If you're going to pick a dedicated squid outfit, then it is a good one to have a slow action with a bendy rod tip, just so that way you don't pull squid jigs. So this is 6'10" in length. As I said, it's 2 to 4 kilo. I've got that paired with a 2500 size reel, and what I've done is I've spooled that reel with 10-pound braid. What I have done though is I've also run one rod length of 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, and I've joined that just using a double uni knot. You can get a bit more sophisticated and use things like an FG knot if you really want to. So basically the braid is going to give you that really thin diameter, the no memory, the really good casting. It's not going to hit the guides, and then that last rod length of fluorocarbon leader, that's going to give you the stretch, the abrasion resistance, and the biggest thing with fluorocarbon leader is it's basically fused monofilament line, which makes it a lot thinner and harder for fish, or in this case squid, to see. So that's a setup, and today all we're using is a size 3 squid jig. I've got that quick eggy clip so you can change squid jigs very easily. So this one I'm going to be working in my hand, and I think it's really good just to have a mix of colors, because part of your challenge as an angler when you hit the water, whether it's a lure, soft plastic, or even a squid jig, is to kind of try and figure out what color is going to work on the day. So I'm going to cast with this white squid jig for a good 10-15 minutes, and if I don't get any action, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change color, and I'm going to change color to something dramatically different. So I'll probably go from white to black. If I don't get anything on the black, then I might go to your reds, then I might go to your golds, go to your natural colors like your blues and your greens. So you're going to keep swapping and changing things until you kind of crack the code on the day of what they're taking. That's just fishing in general, whether you're using baits, whether you're using lures or soft plastics, is just get creative. Don't be afraid to mix things up, and don't do, oh, there we go, got one, there we go. I wasn't even working that, I need to get the net here. So this is a good start. So I'm going to mark a waypoint here, because obviously we know we're in good squid grounds here. So that should have been 2 catches in about a minute. So there we go. Okay. So there's your first squid of the day. So it's just taken that white squid jig there. So white is a great color. It's often a color I'll go to first. And the best thing to do with these squid is to just grab a spike, and you actually do it between the eyes and then also just above the spine. The squid will actually change color, so they'll go from that beautiful translucent, and then they'll turn straight white. Put them on ice. That is great eating. It's also great bait. All around me at the moment, there is just thick weed, and then patches of sand in between. So these are perfect productive grounds. And we're sitting currently at the moment in about 3.2 meters of water. So we will be sharing these marks in our members area, which is what we do with all of our reports. So if you want some productive grounds, we do share all the areas that we generally fish. And I just think we're going to get a bag of squid today without too much effort, which is really, really awesome. So what's great is there's a little bit of movement, so just a tiny bit of current, but no swell. So these are absolutely perfect conditions, because what that means is we're on the drift, we're covering a bit of ground, I've got my sounder on, and I've got basically the routes and the plots enabled, so that's actually drawing a line over everywhere we go. And I can kind of, here we go, got another one. Look at this, beautiful. Kind of measure how quick we're traveling. And there's another squid right here. Oh, you bugger. He got me. Oh, that's one of the fun things with squid fishing, is be prepared to get messed. And look at that, it's just drenched me. That is their prime self-defense though, so not a huge one there, but there you go, that's the second squid in about 5 casts. So again, we're going to mark this. There's a little bit of squid ink on the sounder, so we'll give that a clean. We'll get this guy on ice, and that's a good start today. Put that in there. And you will be surprised how many squid you do catch on that sleeper. So in terms of action with the squid rod that's in my hand, what I am doing is I'm casting it out, I let it sink. It might take 5 seconds, it might take 10 seconds. So it really depends on the size of the squid jig. Here we go, got another one. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really nice one. I think I'll get back to talking techniques in a minute. I don't want to lose this one. This is definitely much bigger than the last two. All on the white so far. So that's 3 squid, and I dropped one, so it should have been 4 squid in about 6 casts on the white squid jig. So we're catching plenty here. There you go. So there is your squid there. So that is on that wide squid jig. So that's doing really, really well. So that is, what do we got? 3 squid and 1 dropped one in about 6 casts. So that's really good. So put that to the side. Not a monster size squid, but they are getting a tad bigger. The good news is, at this rate, we're going to bag out in about 15 minutes. So let's get this one on ice, and let's see if we can get some upgrades. And that sleeper is about to go. Oh, Tanner. Oh, big squid on the sleeper. Oh, that just took off. Wow, I gotta get the net ready. Oh. Well, there you go, that's what I mean. Sometimes just having a squid jig over the side, and that rod has taken off. He's only on by 2 tentacles, this one, so we're gonna have to be very, very careful here if I don't lose this other rod. Oh, this is a nice size squid too. Get them. Oh, no. He's only held on by 1 tentacle. Got him. Oh! Oh! He got me good. He got me real good. Here is another lovely squid. So that's a beautiful size one in terms of eating and that. So just get that. So let's get back to talking about the action for a minute. So really what I'm doing is I'm casting out the squid jig, and as I said, I'm using a size 3 today. It's in that white color. Oh, I had to tap straight away. And then what I do is I basically don't do anything for about 5-10 seconds. I want that squid jig to basically sink right down to the bottom. That's typically where squid are holding. You'll catch 99% of your squid on the bottom. There are some areas where you're going to see there are eggs, which just look like little white flowers on the bottom, right? And then all I'm doing is every probably 10 seconds or so, I'm doing a lift of the rod tip, quite an erratic one, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to mimic like a wounded bait fish of some sort. So you just go up, and then wind in that slack, and then you're going to let that sink back down to the bottom. So that's all I'm doing. I'm working it very, very slowly. So you cast out, and then you're doing those erratic lifts, repeating all the way back to your kayak or your boat. Now we have drifted off that patch that we were before. So what we'll find is if we don't get any hits in this area, probably drifting out a little bit further, we're getting a little bit deeper, we're getting away from those weedy zones. So what we'll do is, you've got the waypoints marked on here, we'll motor back over on top of those waypoints, and you know you're going to be sitting in productive ground. So that 34 was the first one I caught, and then we went on to 33, I caught one, and then the big squid was there. So what it allows me to do now is I know I'm drifting from left to right, so I can reposition myself on that first mark, and just drift directly over the top of areas that I know are holding squid. Okay, so as we're moving along, I get a lot of questions around how to pick the right squid jig, how to pick the right outfit, and what I'm going to say is you don't overthink it, right? In this space, there are so many different squid jigs. They come in different sizes. You have some that are UV colored, radiated. You have some that have rattles. You have some that have that new kinetic wheel that flash. They do all these sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. If you're gonna go and buy one, don't overcomplicate it. So a lot of times I'm fishing, as I said, in that 3 to 5 meters deep. So I'm typically starting with a size 3. For your drifters, sometimes it's nice to have a slightly smaller size in that 2.5. And if you're fishing in areas that have higher tidal waters, or you know it's renowned for really, really big squid, then I might jump up to a size 3.5 or even a size 4. What I would say is don't overthink it. When you walk into a retail store that sells squid jigs, you're going to find there's going to be shelves of just hundreds and hundreds of different types, different colors, different features, all these sort of weird and wonderful gizmos. Don't overthink it. Pick a couple of different colors, pick a couple of different sizes, build up your confidence. What you're going to find is over time, you're going to start to establish certain favorite colors, certain favorite sizes, certain favorite brands. And part of the fun is actually getting out there, buying some different stuff, getting on the water and experimenting. There are no set rules in what works. We are in absolutely perfect grounds now. So I'm just drifting over sand patches and then into thick weed. And I'd be very surprised if we don't catch a few in the next minute. Here we go, got one. Oh my God, this is a good one. Wow, this one is really pulling the rod tip. Whoa, this is what we're after. Yeah, this is a nice one. Oh, he's already splashing everywhere. All right, so you want to get the net behind them, so that way when they splash out, they actually force themselves into the net. So that's a good size one. Perfect, so that is exactly what it's all about. Putting all of those tips that we're sharing with you into practice. Covering the right areas, looking for your thick weed and your sandy patches, fishing in crystal clear, calm conditions, being on the drift, working your squid jigs nice and slowly, but casting them out, a couple little erratic lifts, and then what you want to be doing is you want to be landing. Wow, this is a nice one. You want to be landing squid like that. So that is, oh, sorry matey. So that is the best squid that we've caught so far. So that is an absolutely beautiful squid. You can see it's been caught just on that. I think that's an Incu squid jig. So that is the 3.0 in dynamite white, they call it. And obviously that's working an absolute treat. So what we're going to do again is we're going to mark a waypoint because that's where we caught it. And we'd love to get a few more of that sort of size. So that's a really nice one. So that was peeling a little bit of drag on the line. And in terms of eating, that is absolutely perfect. So that is a beautiful squid, fascinating creatures. That's 6 squid in about 15 minutes. So we're right on track to get our bag today. Well, there you go. There's one of the joys of squid fishing is squidding on everything. So that was my white squid jig. So we'll try and put that over the side and give it a bit of a clean. When I come out fishing for squid, I'm generally bringing something a bit like this, which has got a whole range of different colors. And as I said, what I think your job is really when you get out there is to try and crack the code on what colors and sizes and everything's going to be working on the day. To make matters even a bit more interesting, keep in mind that by all reports, squid are colorblind, so they can see lots and lots of different shades of black. So you sort of wonder as a consumer whether these colors, how much difference they actually make. But I would definitely say that I have had days, today's a perfect example of that, 7 squid so far, all the catches on the white one, none on the green and red foil. So for me, it says it's time to swap over that green and red one to something else. And as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm just covering my bases. Lots and lots of different colors and different shapes and different sizes. So we've got things like, if I just run through, we've got things like bright orange, a more natural pilchard colored looking one, we've got golds. So these are these new fancy ones with that flash boost kinetic wheel. That's also a nude one. You'll notice that that doesn't have a cloth, where this is the equivalent one, but with a cloth. So we've got blacks, okay, we've got whites, okay, so, and this is just a small container that I generally take out with me. Doesn't take up too much room, it just sits behind my chair on the kayak. On a boat, you can have no problems taking these out. And again, we've got bright greens and yellows, more natural greens, got some reds, okay? So again, the real idea is when I get out here, I'm gonna have a rough game plan. I'm gonna start with these two colors, and then if things get quiet, I'm going to change the colors. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to be able to change things really quickly is you can get a quick eggy clip. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that is. So I'm just going to burn this rod in here for you. Okay, so historically I haven't used these a lot, and that's only because many moons ago I used to use these quite a lot, and I had one day where I was fishing up near Queenscliff and I caught a huge squid, and the clip actually broke just as I was bringing the squid in. And for that day, I've always been quite skeptical of these squid clips. But you can see there, what I've got is just a very quick clip. And what that allows you to do is you can just hold that, okay? You can take that off. That has been removed from the line. And then what I can do is I can quickly change colors by just threading that on. It takes 2 seconds. You can chop it, change colors. You don't need to tie knots. You don't need to tie leaders. It's a really good, quick and easy way of doing things. So that might be something that you may want to consider. Again, just little eggy clips like that. Now this white one's been really good today, so I'm going to just persist with that a little bit longer. I'm actually going to change the color of the other one, and then all I do with that is bang, look at that, that is now clipped on again. Now the logic here with these clips is obviously as you catch something, it's going to put tension on. It's very unlikely that it's going to push that squid jig forward or sideways. So as you're bringing something in, it's actually going to put more pressure on. It's very unlikely you'll lose one. And as I said, I have. That's why I've been a bit skeptical in the past. But if you want a really quick way of changing squid jigs, that's a really good option. Okay, and those there are the eggy clips that I've been using. So there's heaps of different ones on the market. I think I might have one on here, which we do. Here is another lovely squid. So that's a beautiful size one in terms of eating and that. So just get that line away from it. So there you go. So there is another squid there. So that is 9 squid on the board now in about 45 minutes. So we are pretty sure we're going to bag out now. Just using a lot of these basic tips. We'll dispatch this one and we'll get him on ice. And then let's get that 10th squid school up in really big numbers. So if you catch one, most likely there are other in that immediate area. So that's why it's really important to set your waypoint. If you're on a boat fishing with someone else, if someone catches one, get the other person to cast a squid jig directly behind where you've caught one. But it's amazing how many times we get double hookups. Someone lands one, the other person throws one at the back of that, they get a hook up straight away. It's a strategy that works really well. I guess as we're getting close to wrapping up, because obviously we're 1 squid away from bagging out, obviously your maximum limit is 10. There's no size limit on squid, but I don't like keeping the tiny little ones. So as I said, this is a size 3. You can get them in size 2.5, 3, 3.5 and 4. And really, the more shallower and less current, you're probably going to go to those smaller sizes. And the bigger the squid, the bigger the current, the deeper the water, you're going to go even heavier. You can fish in even really deep waters, and I've seen some companies, they actually create those metal molds that you can put on the top of that squid jig just to help it sink. I've even seen some people in Western Port where they will actually use sinkers and a paternoster rig with squid jigs on the end of them. Obviously, the other way that you can do squid fishing is you can go and buy a squid spike and put some nice fleshy bait like a silver whiting, a bit of a salmon chunk or something like that. That's also a really effective way. But in terms of what I'm doing today is I'm casting, I'll let it sit there for 10 seconds or so. Then I'm just doing those erratic lifts, letting it sink back down to the bottom. On the other side there, I've got the other rod, which is just drifting with a squid jig. Typically, I'm going to have that as a size 3 or a 2.5 so you don't snag up. And that will always account for a couple of squid. Today, it's only accounted for 1 out of the 9, which is quite unusual. Just doing those things and obviously being really aware of your surroundings. So if you're in nice, clear, shallow waters, you should be able to look over the side. You want to see really thick patches of weed, some clearings of sand. And if you can't see them, then using your sounder and some of the stuff that I showed you on the screen before, you're really looking for that fuzzy edge on the bottom. If you can get most of that right, you're going to do well, catch yourself a nice bag of squid. It's not going to be like this every time you come out. I've had some sessions where I've bagged out in literally 10 minutes, and then I've had other days where you've got to work 4 or 5 hours for them. That's just the nature of fishing in general. There's lots and lots of variables, from clarity of the water, temperature, outdoor conditions, the moon phase, the tides, everything. So the whole idea is get out there, experiment with some different colors, experiment with different techniques. You've got to put in the hours, but I'll tell you what, the reward at the end of the day is some really enjoyable fun fishing. Enough yapping, let's try and get this 10th one on the board, so that way I've got my bag and that we can wrap things up. So one question that I get a lot from people is, why is there such a difference in price point between squid jigs? So today I'm just using one like these. I said that's just one of the white ones. So they cost about $15, right? But you're right, if you go into your major retails, you're gonna find some squid jigs as cheap as maybe $8 or $9. You might find some in the bargain buckets for $3 or $4. And then if you look on the shelves, you're gonna find squid jigs even as expensive up to $40. So that is a massive discrepancy. Generally what it is, you're paying for quality of those components. So the squid spikes itself, the jacket that it has on it, the quality of the cloth. Also some of your better grade ones, they actually sink at a different rate. So there are some really good squid jigs on the market that you can buy as slow sinking and even fast sinking. So depending on whether you're fishing in shallow or deep, but generally it's to do with the quality of the components, the swimming action of the squid jig. Now that doesn't mean, here we go, got one. Yes, I do too. Oh, this is a good one. That doesn't mean you've got to go out and spend 40 bucks on a squid jig. What it does mean is you need to experiment. So you've got brands like Yamashita and, oh, this is a really nice one. This is my best squid today. And more importantly, this is the 10th squid today. So this is our bag, providing I don't lose this one netting it. And this is a really, really nice squid. Oh, he doesn't want to come up. Got him, yes. Oh. So that is the squid of the day to finish. That is a big squid. That is an absolute ripper. So I'm going to mark a waypoint here. I'm going to call it big squid. Big squid. Save. Job done. And as I said, we do share these marks in our members area. Oh, this is a cracking squid. But guys, as you can see, that's a $15 squid jig that I've got on there. This is a really, really good squid. Look at this one. Yes. That is your bag there. So that is 10 squid for the day. As you can see there, it's caught that on that white InQ Dynamite white squid jig. So that's only a $15 squid jig, guys. So that wasn't on a $40 squid jigs. But the key of this is experiment. Go and find some colors that you like. Go and find some brands that you like. Experiment with different things on different days. So fast sinking, slow sinking. And what happens is over time and with experience, you're going to start to catch squid, and you're going to start to catch squid regularly like that. So look at that. That is an absolute, that is an absolute ripper of a squid. And that is happy days. I'm absolutely thrilled with that. As I said, that is our bag. So that's pretty much going to wrap up today's fishing lesson. Guys, I hope that you found this helpful. If you think that there's anything I haven't covered in this video, then don't hesitate to email me at alan@fishingmad.com.au. Happy to answer your questions, and obviously happy to then incorporate stuff into our members workshops and future videos that you might enjoy. But look at that. That's a way to finish the day. 10 squid, we've got our bag, and we've got some really nice size ones. This no doubt is my catch of the day, so I'm thrilled with that. It's going to be some pretty good eating in the Benici household this week, and my family will really enjoy nothing better than some fresh calamari. Anyway, guys, take care. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to go and check out our members area, which is www.fishingmad.com.au/member. Hopefully some tips, helpful workshops, giveaways, and all that sort of stuff. It's going to help you onto catching some really, really quality stuff like that. And have a great day, and thanks for watching. Look at that. There's your bag of squid. Not a bad day in the office at all. Standout performer today was 9 on that squid jig and 1 on the sleeper. So the Savage Gear Stealth 1DFR rod. You can see there's nothing overly fancy about this setup here.